Okay, good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the county board to order. It is Thursday, February 18, 2010. The time is 7:01. Roll call, please.
Michaels.
Here.
Mosier. Nudo.
Here.
O'Connor.
Here.
Richards.
Here.
Rosales.
Here.
Sapp.
Here.
Schrader.
Here.
Smucker.
Here.
Wysocki.
Here.
Ammons.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Beckett.
Here.
Benzel.
Here.
Betts.
Here.
Carter.
Here.
Coward.
Present.
Dennis.
Here.
Gladney.
Present.
James.
Here.
Jay.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Knott.
Here.
Kurtz.
Here.
Langenheim.
Here.
McGinty.
Here.
Weibel.
Good. We're in quorum. To move a prayer tonight, I want to ask for a moment of silence for Jerry Parr, who recently passed away. She was the county auditor for 10 years. Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the clerk read the notice of the meeting, please?
Notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the County Board, Champaign County, Illinois, will convene on February 18, 2010, 7 o'clock p.m. in the Lyle Shields Meeting Room, Brookings Administrative Center, 1776 East Washington Street, Urbana, Illinois, in said county for the purpose of allowing and ordering payment of claims against the county, receiving and acting upon reports of committees, and such other matters as may be brought before said meeting, which said meeting shall continue in session from day to day until the completion of said business.
Moved by Mr. Betts, second by Ms. Wysocki. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Seek approval of the agenda and the two addenda. Moved by Ms. Corn, second by Mr. Betts. I would like to suggest that we move item 11A, which is the minutes of January 21st, 2010, immediately after this item. Also move facilities to the beginning of the standing committee reports.
So moved. Second.
Second, Mr. James. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Seek approval of the minutes of January 21st, 2010.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. James. Second by Ms. Kohler? Ms. Kohler. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. The date and time for the next regular meetings are on Tuesday, March 2nd, at 6 o'clock. There will be committee of the whole meeting for highway transportation, county facilities, and environment and land use. On Tuesday, March 9th, at 6 p.m., another committee of the whole for finance, policy, personnel, and appointments, justice, and social services. Also, at the March 9th meeting, there will be a public hearing on whether or not to change the size of the county board and to reduce membership of districts from 3 to 1, or perhaps I suppose 2. That meeting will be held at 7. The committee of the whole meeting will stop at 7. The public hearing will take place, and then after that is over, the committee of the whole meeting will continue until it's completed. The next regular meeting is on Thursday, March 18th, 2010, at 7 p.m. in this room. Moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any items which board members would like to take off the agenda?
Move approval.
Moved by Mr. Beckett, second by Mr. Kurtz. Roll call.
You know, none of these are roll call items. You could do it by voice vote. Or maybe the...
I think consent has to be roll call.
Michaels.
Yes.
Nudo.
Yes.
O'Connor.
Yes.
Richards.
Yes.
Rosales. Yes. Sapp. Schrader.
Agenda.
Smucker.
Yes.
Ammons.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Beckett.
Yes.
Benzel.
Yes.
Betts.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Cowart.
Yes.
Dennis.
Yes.
Gladney.
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Jay.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Knott.
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Langenheim.
Yes.
McGinty.
Yes.
Weibel.
Yes, motion carries. public participation. The first speaker is Mr. Bruce Hannon, and this involves some interchange between Mr. Hannon and the board members, so I would ask for a suspension of the rules for this speaker.
So moved. The rules.
Moved by Mr. Beckett, second by Mr. Kurtz. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Go ahead, Mr. Hannon.
I'm here because we are closing out the county bell tower committee. Whoops. Well, I'm still here, and we're still closing out the county bell tower saga this evening. I want to thank the county board, all those members on the board who were on our committee especially, and those who were on former boards that were on our committee. I want to thank our committee, working the last 9 years to have completely paid off the pledge of $1.15 million in totally private gifts. And I especially want to thank one of you, Steve Beckett, for the leadership that he's provided throughout those 9 years. It's been truly a joy to work with him, and were it not for him, I don't think I'd be standing here tonight and we wouldn't have that beautiful tower that the county now has. His deep interest in history of people and of architecture has led us through this whole thing. Thank you, Steve, very much.
Mr. Beckett.
Mr. Chair, I have the honor of advising you of the extent of the success in donations since Jim and Leslie Leoto were here at our August meeting. You'll recall at that time he gave us a check for $100,000 for the balance of his initial pledge of $150,000. And on that day, to my surprise, he said that he would match up to another $100,000 if we would do additional fundraising. From that moment up to now, the committee has raised $84,446.18, and I have checks to present to you tonight from Jimmy John's, from Jim and Leslie Leoto, in the amount of $84,446.18. I want to let the board know that the total funds raised through donations and pledges from 2002 through February of 2010 is $1,099,523.06. Now, I just found out today we have an additional about $4,000 that a vendor is giving us, and another contribution that's not in that total. We have actually earned interest on the funds that we've actually received over that period of time of $54,825.59. So the total of all funds raised by the committee is $1,154,348.65. I can't thank the committee, Bruce Hannon, I see Bob White here, Harold and Pat Jensen. I know they're here. Harold and Pat have just done yeoman's work on behalf of the committee, and the community certainly has benefited. The clock and bell tower is certainly beautiful, and so Mr. Weibel, with your permission, I'll hand you, Chair Weibel, I'll hand you these checks.
Certainly. Thank you. Judge Harold Jensen.
Thank you. I just want to take a few brief seconds to thank the county board for bearing with us through this project over quite a number of years. We appreciate the fact that you stuck with us, and I hope you feel that we fulfilled our responsibility that we promised as a result of what's just been stated here tonight. I want to thank Steve for his work, Bruce Hannon as the chair of our committee. My wife and I were honorary co-chairs of the committee. Thank Barbara Wasaki for her work on the wonderful Lincoln display and museum in the courthouse. I hope you all think the effort was worthwhile. We certainly do. I hope you think it's a beautiful addition, and you've got a beautiful courthouse there now. Thank you.
Mr. Bill Ziegler.
Good evening. I'm Bill Ziegler. I live north of Urbana at 4704 North Willow Road. 10 minutes from here is an idyllic area described by those who have visited, and those of us who live there, is peaceful and quiet. It's an area containing thousands of acres of the richest cropland in all the world. A creek meanders through virgin timber stands on our land, and orchards full of fruit that feed our families and neighbors. Some of our families, like mine, have farmed this land for over a century. Some, like me, were born on the very farms that we still live on today. Some have retired here, built their dream homes. Others have launched innovative and award-winning farmland-based businesses that complement our area's farming history. My wife, Virginia, and I have lived on our farm in the area being considered for the Olympian Drive extension since 1936. I was born on that farm that the proposed Olympian Drive project would bisect, would literally cut it in half. I want to tell you a bit about Virginia's and my piece of heaven. Our farm, north of Urbana, came into being in 1865, thanks to my great-grandfather, Diebold Ziegler, 2 years before the University of Illinois was even founded. My great-grandfather, my grandfather, my father, and I have all farmed this land. Today, with the help of my wife, children, and grandchildren, we keep that legacy alive. I want to tell you about one of our grandkids tonight. Jake is an ordinary teenager in many respects, except one. Instead of dreaming of city life and glamorous high-paying jobs after college, Jake thinks about one thing he has since he was a little boy, and that is farming. Tractor was one of his first words, and as soon as he was old enough to walk, he longed to be in the fields with Grandpa Billy. Today, Jake is now 16. Dreams of farming the land we hope will be handed down to him when he's old enough to run the farm on his own. Our homestead, the only place I've ever lived in my entire life, would be within spitting distance from the very edge of the proposed Olympian Drive. The farmland that's been in our family for almost 150 years would be destroyed by the impacts of the road development. Virginia's and my story is but one of many that would be impacted by the Olympian Road plans. Tonight, here are more families with similar stories, multi-generational farms, children and grandchildren who dream of their future role on the family farm, and those who have retired to their dream homes to enjoy the woods, the creek, and the nature our neighborhood has to offer. Your decision to move forward on the Olympian Drive would destroy the only home I've ever known. It would destroy my grandson's plan of being a farmer like 5 generations of Zieglers before him. I urge you to think of the heritage you would destroy, the families you would alter with these plans. This is not a project that our community needs. Thank you.
Is Janet Charlo?
On 260 acres in the area that Bill just described, my family has been farming since 1907 and the days of my great-grandfather, John. My parents and I have lived on this land since 1960. On our 260-acre patch of paradise, I raise nearly 40,000 bushels of grain a year and contribute tens of thousands of dollars of economic value to our community and to our community, and that's on our farm alone. Together with my farmer neighbors, we are producing crops, commodities, on the world's finest agricultural soil. More than just prime farmland or good black dirt, our land has been referred to as gold dirt, and it is the envy of the world. Over 1,600 acres of gold dirt, over 1,600 acres of farmland worked by my family and my neighbors' families would be destroyed by the plan to extend Olympia Drive. Some look at farmland as pavement waiting to happen. To me and my neighbors, we think of our farmland as an economic driver in this community. While we hire farm hands and extra help during harvest, we don't offer either minimum wage cashier jobs at the latest big box store or factory line positions. But what we do on our farmland is to add value to our local economy. For in all, our 1,600 acres contributes nearly $1.3 million to the economy each and every year. $1.3 million. Progress is a way of life on the farm. I learned that at an early age. Gone are the days of me riding in the back of my grandpa's pickup truck with a 5-gallon container of milk fresh from the cow and on the way to the Meadow Gold Dairy. We no longer have chickens. Today we farm corn and soybeans. Equipment has changed. Progress. Hybrids have arrived and science has helped boost our yields. I know progress will continue to come on my farm. That is inevitable. But I hope the next round of progress to come to my farm has to do with finding innovative ways to raise more food to feed the hungry around the world and methods to protect our soil and our environment. Not a 200-foot wide roadway, a big box store, and a parking lot. In the coming days and weeks, we will be contacting each of you for meetings to share our thoughts, our concerns, and our ideas regarding Olympian Drive project and preserving the farmland so valuable to our region. Thank you.
Are there any other citizens who wish to participate in public participation? See none. We'll close that and move on to communications from board members and announcements.
Yes.
Mr. Beckett?
I have two matters for policy. One you should have gotten in the mail dated February 10, 2010. It's a recommendation for County Board rules change for public participation during committee of the whole meetings. The one aspect of committee of the whole meetings that we did not address was to organize public participation. This rule, which amends Rule 12, would set the same sort of public participation as we have with our full county board meetings, and I've asked Chair Betts if he would please put that on the agenda for the next policy meeting. The second matter is a resolution establishing the Champaign County Redistricting Commission for Election Redistricting based on the 2010 United States Census, and it's green. This is something I've been working on for some time and have been discussing with some other county board members and some other organizations in the community. I call this Champaign County Fair Map proposal, and I'm asking that Mr. Betts put this on the policy agenda for the next policy meeting as well. Thank you.
Ms. Wysocki.
Yes, at your each board member should note that at your desk this evening is a rather thick volume, which is the draft, the long-awaited draft of the Land Resource Management Plan. It is given to you this evening because the schedule that we have for it has it on the agenda, or will have it on the agenda for the Committee of the Whole meeting on Tuesday, March 2nd. We will at least open the discussion at the county board level on this plan. And so this is your opportunity to spend some time with it, to familiarize yourself with some of the major points, and to come to that meeting ready to talk. The planners, and I really have to give a lot of credit to the RPC staff planners as well as John Hall, who worked very hard on this document, and of course expect you all to read it from cover to cover. I think for where we are now, probably the most important segment of it are the 22 pages under the second tab, which talk about the goals, policy, and objective that the steering committee proposed for the future of Champaign County's land use. So please take that with you this evening, and again, try to spend some time with it in advance of the meeting on March 2nd, and we'll see where this document goes.
Other communications. Mr. Kurtz.
Thank you. About 2 weeks ago, I spent the morning over at the Eastern Illinois Food Bank with their marketing director and was exposed to their distribution center and the incredible work that they do in 15 counties in east central Illinois. Just to give you a quick numbers, last year the Eastern Illinois Food Bank served 522,000 individuals in the 15 counties. They served over 1,800,000 meals to those people who could not afford to have food, and distributed nearly 5,500,000 pounds distributed to agencies all across the 15 counties. I was very impressed with their work and how the demand has increased over this past year by 30%, probably in many cases due to the recession. But I just want to bring to the attention of the board and to the county the incredible work that they do in helping those who are less fortunate than we are, and that I'd like to make sure that we keep a strong support of this organization. Thank you.
Other announcements. Okay, let's move on to standing committee reports. Mr. Beckett.
From the second addendum, item 10C, on behalf of facilities, I move adoption of resolution number 7280 for the award of contract to Train US Inc. for the chiller replacement equipment at the Downtown Correctional Center pursuant to county board action, and I so move.
Second by Ms. Ammons. Discussion. Mr. James.
Are we going to own that, or is the contractor still going to own it because of the warranty? What was decided on that? Does anybody have an answer?
Mr. Reinstein is here somewhere. Could you speak up to the mic and answer this question, please?
We will not own this machine. We are pre-ordering, and the current bid package now for the actual installation, we will turn over the purchase order to the winner of that bid, and they will own the machine and give us the required warranty.
Follow-up, is it air or water?
It is air-cooled.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Discussion? See none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beckett. Finance, Mr. McGinty.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I recommend adoption of resolution number 7269, purchases not following purchasing policy, and I so move.
Second.
Second by Mr. Beckett. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I recommend adoption of resolution number 7270, payment of claims authorization, and I so move.
Second.
Second by Mr. J. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I recommend adoption of resolution number 7271, an emergency budget amendment for $43,000 to appropriate remaining cash in the nursing home construction fund for arbitration expenses, or transfer back to general corporate fund to cover arbitration expenses paid out of the general corporate fund, and I so move.
Second.
Second by Mr. Rosales. Discussion? Roll call.
Michaels.
Yes.
Nudo.
Yes.
O'Connor.
Yes.
Richards.
Yes.
Rosales.
Yes.
Sapp. Schrader.
Yes.
Smucker.
Yes.
Wysocki.
Yes.
Ammons.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Beckett.
Yes.
Benzel.
Yes.
Betts.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Cowart. Dennis.
Yes.
Gladney.
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Jay.
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Knott,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Langenheim,
Yes.
McGinty,
Yes.
and Weibel.
Yes, motion carries.
Item number 4, I recommend adoption of resolution number 7217, an emergency budget amendment with an increased appropriation of $679,597 to create an account for a subcontract from the Illinois Department of Human Services for the management of federal substance abuse and mental health services administration cooperative agreement, and I so move.
Second.
Second by Mr. Kurtz. Discussion. Mr. Tracy from the Mental Health Board is here to answer questions if there are any. Mr. Betts.
Does this grant have anything to do with the grant that the city of Champaign turned down this week?
I don't think so, but I'll let Mr. Tracy answer that.
No.
Good.
Other questions? Well, tough night, Mr. Tracy.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Michaels,
Yes.
Nudo,
Yes.
O'Connor, Richards, Rosales,
Yes.
Sapp, Schrader,
Yes.
Smucker,
Yes.
Wysocki,
Yes.
Ammons, Anderson,
Yes.
Beckett, Benzel, Betts, Carter, Coert, Denitz, Gladney, James, Jay, Jones, Knott, Kurtz,
Yes.
Langenheim, McGinty, Weibel.
Yes, motion carries.
I recommend adoption of resolution number 7273, authorizing the county board chair to execute a deed of conveyance, permanent parcel number 15-025-0104, and I so move.
Second.
Second by Mr. Rosales. Discussion. Mr. Smucker.
You just have an explanation.
I believe it's another mobile home that's been left in our hands. This conveys a deed to, actually a mobile home, a redemption deed for mobile home lot. I think we did one a couple months ago, too. Further question? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
I recommend the request to waive the hiring freeze for the state's attorney, support enforcement, legal secretary position, and I so move.
Second by Mr. Beckett. Discussion. Ms. Reitz is here to answer any questions. Ms. Ammons.
I wanted to know how the position fits into the hiring freeze standard that we already have that's supposed to remain vacant for 6 months.
Well, this is waiving that hiring freeze, so.
Right. I'm just trying to understand why we would do that.
As I indicated in my letter that should be in everyone's packet, the Support Enforcement Division is a division that is funded by a contract with the State Department of Human Services. This is the department that enforces child support orders for custodial parents, indigent custodial parents. And the entire department is funded by a contract with the state. So the hiring freeze that we have essentially does nothing for the county because this is state money. If we don't fill the position, we save 3 months of salary that we have to give back to the state. We've already had to deal with a lot of cuts from the state. In fact, today we just found out that we have to cut an additional 3% from our budget in that area. This is a position that is vital. It's a high volume area. The secretary in that position notified us that she's retiring after many years of service. In our office, as part of the cuts from last year, we had to lay off one of our bargaining unit AFSCME employees. Under our contract, during the next year, if we have to lay someone off, we have to give them the opportunity to take the next available job. Unfortunately, for the person we had to lay off to this point, she hasn't been able to find other employment and would be happy to take this job, so we'd be able to rehire an employee that we had to lay off with the last round of cuts, which would be a wonderful thing. And so we certainly would prefer to be able to do that now as opposed to have to wait 3 months or hire her as a temp and not be able to give her the benefits to which she is entitled under the AFSCME contract.
Mr. Nudo.
Well, I think the last sentence of Ms. Reitz's letter to us makes all the sense in the world. I mean, if we have to return the money, it just doesn't make sense for us to not waive this hiring freeze.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Addendum, I recommend adoption of resolution number 7279 for the abatement and reduction of taxes heretofore levied for the payment of bonds, and I so move.
Second.
Second by Mr. Beckett. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
And from the second addendum, I recommend adoption of ordinance number 8594 for exception to the Champaign County purchasing policy, and I so move.
Second.
So moved by Mr. McGinty, second by Mr. Beckett. Discussion. Ms. Emmons.
McGinty.
I can give some background on that. The county has a rule that the books have to be closed 30 days after the end of the fiscal year. But what happened is that the auditor did not receive several months' worth of revenue postings from the nursing home. And so it would be nice to have those postings before the end of last year. The last fiscal year was closed. So this would move it from 30 days to 90 days. 90 days is the state, is the rule by state statute, so it's perfectly legal from that aspect. And this will allow our books to be completed before we enter the new fiscal year, at least if those figures would be. If we don't do it, it really screws up the books, so to speak. Mr. Fabry, could you comment on that?
Yeah, this is something that actually Deb Busey asked me to speak on tonight. What Mr. Weibel said is entirely correct. There's the current county board rule is that everyone has 30 days to close out their books for the year, and state law gives 90 days. I think the 30 days that the county does is great. Most departments are able to close out their books and get them in within 30 days. The nursing home hasn't been able to do that this year, and I think a lot of the problem this year was the new accounting system and just figuring out how to get the reports transferred over. So they're several months behind in getting the reports into the county's general ledger. By passing this tonight, this allows us to keep the fiscal year 09 books open until the end of February for the nursing home, so they can get all the revenue funds in. And so in the annual audit, you actually get all 12 months of revenue reflected for the nursing home instead of just the 7 months or 8 months that we currently have on the general ledger.
Okay, Mr. James.
Is it just for this one time, or is this going to be permanent?
This is something that the county board has had to do specifically for the nursing home several years now. I think it would be great if this wasn't a problem in the future, and I would encourage the county board to encourage the nursing home to make sure this doesn't happen again in future years. But
this resolution is for this fiscal year only. Mr. Gladney?
Well, I'm hearing you say on one hand that they're having trouble doing it within 30 days this year because of the new accounting system, but then also you say that they've been having this issue for years. So what would have been the reasons for that?
Really, someone from the nursing home would have to address that.
Mr. Becker?
I've been on the board going on 10 years. We've done it 3 times. And it just depends on particular problems within a given year. If we don't do this, then we end up with inaccurate books. Here we have a nursing home that people are very interested in. They want to know what the cash flow is. They ask us questions. We need to have accurate numbers. This allows us to have accurate numbers for last year's operation.
Very well said.
Mr. Newton.
I agree with Steve. I don't recall this happening last year. This was not open last year, correct?
That's correct. Not happened last year.
There are some circumstances that the Nursing Home Advisory Board is addressing right now along with the MPA in conjunction with this issue. So it is clear that we need to make this extension and also correct the issue.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
That's all from finance. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McGinty. Environmental land use, Ms. Wysocki.
I move that we enter into executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C11 to consider litigation which has been filed and is pending against Champaign County. I further move that the following individuals remain present: Recording Secretary, the county's legal counsel, and the Director of Planning and Zoning.
Second.
Second by Mr. Betts. Roll call.
Michaels?
Yes.
Nudo?
No.
O'Connor?
No.
Richard?
Yes.
Rosales? Yes. Sapp?
Yes.
Schrader?
Yes.
Smucker?
Yes.
Wysocki?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Beckett?
Yes.
Benzel?
Yes.
Betts?
Yes.
Carter?
Yeah.
Coward?
Yes.
Dennis?
No.
Gladney?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Jay?
No.
Jones?
No.
Knott?
No.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Langenheim?
Yes.
McGinty?
Yes.
Wysocki? Weibel?
Which? Weibel? Yes.
Weibel.
Motion carries. We're in closed session.